Okay, so I was reading the news and I see this one video that says 8 ways boomers save money that millennials ignore. I saw like one or two topics, but I'm gonna watch this video and see how it fares and see if I agree with any of this. 8 ways boomers save money that millennials ignore. Might have to put Gen Z in this. Cook at home more often. Ooh. Boomers were more likely to cook their meals rather than eat out or order takeout. This allowed them to save a lot on food costs. This is true. Buy food at the grocery store. I mean, I buy a lot from Costco. I bulk buy. And a lot of meat is put in the freezer so I could, if I know I'm going to eat that meat or other foods, I put it in the refrigerator and eat it the next day so it's thawed out. I'm ready to cook. If you eat out all the time, you're going through a lot of money. I remember cooking more in college because it was saving me more money, especially when you don't have that much money. I try to limit eating out once a week. Buy quality items meant to last. Boomers tend to invest in durable furniture, appliances, cars, etc., rather than cheaper versions that need replacing. Some of this is an area that you cannot cheap out on, right? Furniture. Buy a good dinner table. Not a cheap one that's flimsy, glass, that could break real easily. Furniture that will last you years. Yeah, it might cost you a little bit more money, but the longevity is worth it. Same goes for appliances. Like I bought a really good washer and dryer. Yes, the whole set cost me a little bit over $2,000, but it's strong, it's durable, and it lasts long. Last time I bought a washer and dryer, I think the combination was about $500. That was that was a new set, and this was years ago too, like 10 plus years ago. So they were cheaper, on sale, all that. Didn't even last 2 years until it required maintenance and whatnot. So yeah, I get it. Cars, that's a tough one because first they're very expensive to get a brand new car, and they depreciate in value over time. I unfortunately had to switch off from my American cars. I love Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, all those American cars, Chevys. But I have to switch over to the Japanese brands. Your Honda, your Toyotas, Nissans. The Japanese brand cars are more durable, require less maintenance. They don't break as often compared to American cars. So that one kind of bothered me as an American to make that switch over. But I looked at it as value. How do I keep more money in my pocket? So this is a true statement. There's not more I could think on top of my head, but I'm sure people in the comment will mention something. Live below their means. Oh man, do boomers love to say this to millennials. But you know what? There is some truth to this. Boomers were generally more frugal and didn't succumb as often to lifestyle inflation. They lived in modest starter homes and drove used cars. Okay, I don't want to get involved with the talk about homes, what's classified as a starter home, whatnot. It's crazy overpriced. So 2023, almost 2024, how inflation and cost of a home now is way different from what boomers had. It's not even fair to make this comparison. Besides homes, let's talk about other ways you could be more frugal. Well, big thing that millennials and Gen Z does is they spend a lot of money on stupid crap like clothes at the mall, coffee at Starbucks, just dumb expensive stuff. I have no shame shopping at secondhand stores like a TJ Maxx or a Ross, or I'll go to a thrift store. I find a lot of clothes at thrift stores for like $4 for a pair of jeans that still have tags on them. And I know for a lot of people, they just cannot be caught dead in a thrift store. They're so above that. Yeah, they live paycheck to paycheck. Like, just let it go. Who are you trying to impress with your clothes, really? Coffee, after you bought 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks, you could have bought a whole bag that you can make at home that will last you a month. And you'll save so much more money. Gosh, buying coffee at Starbucks or these other expensive coffee places, such a money pit. It is so dumb. Other things like going out to eat, right? They just cover that. That's one thing. Just cook at home. There's so many other frugal things you can do that doesn't require you to burn money. And it's just like, look back, like, did you really need to spend money on like impulse items or anything like that? If you're willing to look at your bank statement and look at the past month, how much you spent on stuff. I'm sure there's other frugal ideas that people will mention in the comments, and I look forward to that. Pay with cash. Using cash, boomers were less likely to overspend. Swiping a credit card doesn't provide the same visual of your money disappearing. That is a good way to handle your spending. If you're willing to identify that you have a spending problem, especially if you're putting things on a credit card, paying things with cash is a good idea, especially if you're really trying to save money, right? If you get your paycheck and you go, all right, I'm putting this money into my bills, I'm putting this money into my savings, I'm putting this money into a fund of maybe college fund, this money for diapers, this money for, anything else that you really have to put for expensive personal bills and whatnot. But if you want money for like entertainment, something that you want to just, you can't think of in the future that you're going to spend money on, but you will, like an impulse item or something you can't help, have the cash. Because sometimes having that cash, you're like, okay, I got $40. Is that impulse item really worth it? Is that candy bar really worth it? No, I'd rather just keep the cash. It is a good method of preventing you from overspending. Instead of being like, just get it, swipe on a credit card. Worry about it later, right? And credit card companies, they look for more ways to have you process, get approved right away with your purchases as fast as possible. That's why there's like the little microchip that you just touch thing and you're on your way. The faster the better for them to make money. This way you're not second guessing. That's why cash allows you to second guess me, like, you know what? Maybe it's not that worth it. Limit credit card usage. Boomers had fewer credit cards and maintained lower balances. They avoided carrying interest accruing credit card debt. When boomers first had credit cards, it was like one of those where they like placed it on this big metal sheet and they like kind of scanned it across like a paper that implanted them with all the personal information. And it took a while for them to get approved. So there was a long process to get approved on certain purchases. And it gave you a mindset of like, do I really want to spend like 2 minutes to get approved on Cheetos? For them it was more like, I'd rather put in 2 minutes to get approved to buy like an appliance on this credit card or something else. Not necessarily how we have it today where it's just like swipe and go. But credit cards is something that if you have a balance that carries over to the next month, you're not paying off the balance that same month, and you're accruing interest, that is the number one thing that's going to keep you poor. 100%. If you really had to buy all those stupid things overpriced at the mall, or PS5, or whatever, and you're making monthly payments on that credit card, that is keeping you poor. So it is a terrible way to use credit cards. Yeah, I understand that you can use it to get points, but yeah, pay it off that month. Not allowed to accrue interest. Because like if you get like 2% cash back, but you have a 29% interest rate, or what? Okay, it just takes it to 27%? No, just pay it off. I was just talking about this. Make coffee at home. Boomers drink coffee at home rather than buy a $5 latte every day. The daily savings adds up. Okay, she's in the next one. My girlfriend buys coffee at Starbucks all the time. And I know this, and it's $6. Because inflation prices keep going up. It is a dumb thing. It's really stupid. I even bought the big bag of Costco coffee, and it's Starbucks. And we still go to freaking Starbucks. I'm not spending that money. I'm like, you spend that your own money. But let's just go with what this video says. $5 a day. Times that by 7, that's $35. Right? Times that by 4, $140, right? If my higher math is correct. That's a bill. That's impactful money. $140 is very impactful. I had to take out a calculator so I could do the math of times 12. That's $1,680 a year on coffee. Okay, maybe $5 doesn't feel impactful to you. Maybe $35 doesn't feel impactful to you. Maybe you will pause and think $140 a month on just coffee, buying it at Starbucks or Seattle's Best or whatever these places are. Maybe $1,680 a year will give you pause and be like, you know what? I'm better off making coffee at home. Because that's another money pit. That drives me crazy. I understand, like, if you're traveling and you can't make coffee at home, there's a Starbucks. Okay, yeah, I get that. That's an exception. But if you have the opportunity to make it at home, take that. Maintain vehicles properly. Oh, not a lot of millennials know how to do maintenance on their cars. And I highly doubt Gen Zers do. Boomers followed maintenance schedules and kept their cars longer. Ignoring maintenance leads to costly repairs. YouTube has taught me so much maintenance and repairs on my own vehicle. A lot of it's just remove and replace old parts for the most part, right? It's not that hard. Like, hey, you put it on YouTube, my car is doing this, not turning on for whatever reason. And then you follow the symptoms like, okay, that's the problem. I need a new alternator. How do I do that? Okay, you just pop it out, and then take it to AutoZone or O'Reilly's. They can check it for you for free too, by the way. And they'll say, yeah, it's dead. We can give you another one. It'll cost you like $200. Okay. I think at the time it was 200, maybe a little bit more. Get that new part, install it, make sure the belts are put on correctly. Jump the car. It runs great now. Boom. Because if I were to take it in for service, they would have overcharged me on the part, plus 8 hours of labor, and everything else they try to throw in there, like we add these little parts and whatnot. Easily over $1,000, right? So learning how to maintain your own vehicle is a big thing. What I do now, I know how to change my own oil, but I go there to change my own oil because they're going to come back with a laundry list of stuff. Like, you need this, 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 this. I take that paper, I go, okay, I'll schedule another time. I look it up online and be like, oh, I could do this easily. Like most of the stuff that they list out that's overpriced, you can do it easily. Watch a YouTube video, buy the necessary part, and you can fix it yourself. I just went on a rant on maintaining your cars. Avoid impulse purchases. I don't know about this one. Are boomers really good at avoiding impulse purchases? Boomers were more disciplined and spent money more deliberately rather than on random impulse buys. At the store, I don't know. I'm just comparing it with my father and my mother. They always bought stuff on impulse too. And I see other people do it too. I think you could generalize this to everyone. Maybe it's worse with millennials and Gen Z because they're buying more stuff online, right? Especially on Amazon. They see recommended items. Oh, I could use the frying pan. That sounds cool. Ooh, an air fryer. They just buy things real quick without a second thought. So maybe. But I wouldn't just say boomers are better at this. Maybe they are a little bit, but not to the extent that needs to be pointed out. But impulse items, purchases, you will have a better understanding of how much you buy impulse items if you are actually willing to look at your last month's spending or last month's bank statement of what you spent. And you'll be surprised about like how much bullcrap impulse items you spent. That, okay, I don't need that. Or maybe you bought it on a credit card. You look at that statement from last month, be like, what is this for $450? Oh, stupid impulse item. And you'll realize like that month, like, dude, I spent like $45 on impulse items. What am I doing? I need to just have a better mindset and have a second thought, like, how badly do I need this item? Most of the time, you don't. I think that might have been the last one. Yeah, that's all of it. So I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are other money-saving methods that you've done, or you probably learned from boomers too, or that hasn't been mentioned on here, right? So I want to know. I do read the comments, so please let me know. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment below, all that fun stuff.